Comunidad C-Level Satya Nadella aterrizó en Bogotá, Colombia, para dar a conocer todos los detalles de Copilot Agents y proyecto Guacamaya. ¿De qué se trata? Los vamos a dejar con un extracto exclusivo de la conversación de Satya en Bogotá, el CEO de Microsoft.
It's wonderful to be back in Colombia, and it's always exciting in our industry when something new is being born, when these platform shifts that happen once in 10 to 15 years is in the air. It's always exciting to come and ground yourself in how this technology is getting diffused right here in Colombia. And I must say, this morning I had a chance to watch a bunch of showcase customers. It's just stunning to see how quickly what is getting developed, let's say even in the west coast of the United States, is now coming here, getting diffused, and quite frankly some stunning developments that are happening right here. So I want to talk about them, and I want to first start, when we talk about AI and this generation of AI, perhaps understanding the driver. This is something that we describe as scaling laws, very much like Moore's law, help drive computing for what is the PC generation, the mobile generation, even the servers in the cloud. We now have a new scaling law, which is the AI scaling law, which started around 2010 when deep learning started to truly start working, in fact in computer vision first. And now in 2019, with transformers, it started doing stuff for NLP. And then since then, I think it's even inflected more. So if you sort of say Moore's law is about doubling performance every 18 months, the scaling laws of AI are doubling performance every 6 months or so. So it's just stunning to see the capability and that is getting created, that is getting generated, that is even emergent as we throw more compute, more data, and better algorithms. So that's fundamentally the driver of AI. Now, when you think about it, capability-wise, we now have these multimodal capabilities. So that means you can have image, video, text, speech, input and output. You can now create new user interfaces using these capabilities. I think it's going to completely change the landscape of how computer-human interface is mediated. We also have new reasoning capabilities, because one of the other things over the last 70 plus years of digital revolution has been always about digitizing people, places, and things, and making sense of it, right? We used things like relational algebra before to be able to make sense of data. Now you can use this neural engine to make sense of data. So that's the new reasoning capability. So you have a new natural user interface, you have a new reasoning engine, and then you get in the middle, put more memory, more context, and then put all these things to build new AI systems. So that's sort of the building blocks of capability. Now, one of the things that you can sort of now start to imagine is this very rich agentic world, right? You have personal agents that you use, whether it's in the work context or in your life context. You have other agents that are more working with the scope of your organization or team, or your role. You have business processes like sales or marketing that will have agents. You'll have even cross-organizational agents. So this agentic world is what we are building on top of all of this AI capability. So that's what's happening when we think about this AI age. Of course, it's not technology for technology's sake. At Microsoft, we always come back to our mission to empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more. And to us, that means you've got to translate all this abundance and change and innovation into meaningful impact, one person and one organization at a time, in one community and one country at a time. So that's what we're really focused on with these 3 platforms we're building. The 3 platforms are about Copilot plus agents. And what we mean by that is Copilots are things, think of them as UI for your AI. That's the best way to conceptualize, because ultimately, even in this agentic world, one of the most important considerations is what is AI's interface to us and what is our interface to AI. So UI will always matter, and that's what Copilot is. And now these Copilots can be extended by agents, right? You can have a team agent, you can have a marketing agent, a field service agent. They're all plugged into your Copilot. That's how these AI agents interface with you. So that's the first platform. The second platform is about building a full stack for AI development. So a full stack for building Copilots and agents. And so that's the second piece. And the third is Copilot plus agent devices. So these are personal devices you will use, starting with the PC, that is AI first, right, which can carry Copilot and agents. So those are the three platforms that I want to sort of dig into each one of them, starting with Copilot plus agents. Now, we built a complete design system for what I just described as the UI for AI. It starts with, business chat. This is one of the most, unbelievable capabilities we were introduced to, 18 months ago, which is the ability to chat and get at all the knowledge in the world, both outside of the web as well as inside the organization, right? So that's kind of one. We then have now a new capability called Copilot Pages, which is new artifacts that you can create. And then, of course, Copilots in every part of Office system, right? It's one of the latest ones, which I'm so excited to see, is Excel Copilot with Python support, right? That means it's like literally having a data analyst that comes with every spreadsheet you get. So that you can ask it questions, you can ask it to do analysis. So that's the way to think about even the productivity gains that could happen. And then, of course, Copilot Studio. So now these are the elements of the new design system of Copilot. Now, Copilot plus agents is how you think of grounding, essentially, and steering Copilot for all the different roles, right? When you're in finance, when you're in sales, when you're in supply chain, when you're in marketing, you want to make sure your data that is associated with your role, with your business process, is what is steering and grounding these Copilot interfaces. And that's what Copilot Studio allows you to do by building agents. And in fact, one of the underlying capabilities beneath all of this is a very rich set of data sources, right? So there's a rich data cloud that takes all the most important database that is in any organization is your communications database, your document database, the database underneath M365. So that's now in a graph. You combine that with all of the business process data in Dataverse. You have all these connectors to every other business system. You have a rich data cloud that is powering all of these agents and this Copilot interface. That's the way to conceptualize it. And now Copilot Studio allows you to build these agents. And in fact, if you see in this ambient video, an example of Copilot Studio being used by just any one of us who uses Word or Excel or PowerPoint. So this is low-code, no-code development, where you're building a field service agent. In this case, the field service agent is using some SharePoint data, is using some Dynamics backend, and now interfacing with your Copilot, right? It's as simple as that. Be able to use a tool that you can point and click, grounded with some knowledge, and then to be able to give it some actions, and now you suddenly have an AI agent that can interface with your front end, which happens to be Copilot. So that's what this entire system looks like, and the productivity gains are immense. We're already seeing, we're putting out all these economic studies of what it means for companies to be able to get that operating leverage. In fact, one of the ways I describe it is this is not about one POC here and one POC there. This is about broad deployment. It's standard issue of Copilot throughout the organization to be able to get gains across every department, whether it's in customer service, marketing, sales, supply chain, and those productivity stats are all coming fast and furious.